Did you know there are towns in America that have been abandoned for the last 100 years?
Apparently, ghost towns are places where tons of people used to live decades or even hundreds of years ago. La 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 la. Oh, look how happy they are. Until one day, vanished, disappeared, everyone gone without a trace. Actually, that's a lie. Their disappearance is very well documented, but the problem is there isn't much information on how it was actually like to live in a place like this before everyone got Thanos snapped away. So, to solve my curiosity, my goal is to travel to some of the most abandoned ghost towns in the Northeast to find any clues that we can use to figure out how their daily life was like and any more evidence on how it became a ghost town in the first place. Also, I played The Last of Us again recently.
So that's why I'm dressed up like Joel. Ellie. Alright guys, here's the mission. Every ghost town has a story. For example,
in 1853, a coal mining company created a railroad system that transported coal from Pennsylvania to the greater New York area. But they realized that this was bitter work, often leaving their coal miners underpaid and overworked. However, no matter how hard they worked, the company knew they couldn't keep their workers there forever, with many of them traveling far distances to go home and rest. So, to combat this, in 1913, Concrete City was born. An entire town made completely out of concrete, so the company can allow their employees to live as close to the mine site as possible. Things were going relatively well for the new citizens of Concrete City. Except not really, because living conditions were so poor that in the winter months, their clothes would literally freeze while inside their closets. Not to mention a host of other problems that made it practically unlivable. And suffice to say, in 1924, the entire city of Concrete was abandoned, never to be lived in again. And now, 100 years later, there is only one man willing to investigate the full extent of these poor living conditions. And that man is
me! We are going to search every nook and cranny of this ghost town and come to our own conclusions to figure out how life was like before everyone left.
Oh, and also, I printed out these vintage pictures of a different location in each ghost town before it was abandoned. So, as a side quest, I figured it'd be fun to find out where these pictures were taken. And on that note, let's do this. You know, the funny thing about this ghost town is, if you look at the map, it's actually not that hard to find. It's just off this path. But guess who was the dummy that rented an electric car with the nearest charging station 10 miles away? It was I. I was the dummy. So yeah, I had to walk the rest of the way. But thanks to my longer walk though, I had some time to explore. And explore I did. I explored over here, I explored over there, but then during my exploration, that's when I stumbled upon my first obstacle. Damn it! This puddle is blocking the only pathway to the ghost town. And as you can see, it has to at least be 10 feet in diameter. And the last thing I want to do is ruin my luscious black Timbs. As I began to examine my options, I knew there was only one thing I could do. High school PE, don't fail me now. Wow, you saw that, guys? I jumped so far after my treacherous journey over that puddle, and the longer walk I took to get here, I fell to my knees in exhaustion, not knowing if I had any more left in me to finish the journey. But then, I looked up and saw something in the corner of my eye. In disbelief, I grabbed the first photo out of my pocket to verify, and verify I did. As I stare into the abyss of the first concrete home, I brace myself for entry, not knowing what I could find on the other side.
Oh, there's my camera. How did that get there?
Now that we've arrived, let's start searching for clues that can tell us something about this ghost town's past. So, I open my inventory, grabbed these fancy cut-resistant scavenger gloves and began my search. Well, the first obvious thing you'd notice when you walk inside is the copious amounts of graffiti on the wall. And unless the residents were trying to recreate the opening level of Subway Surfers, this graffiti definitely wasn't here 100 years ago. But hey, I know quality art when I see it.
What a wonderful compliment.
Nevertheless, I kept searching for things the old residents may have left behind. Here's a quick rundown of what I found so far. Some rocks, a can, some more rocks, another can, this hole in the ceiling with a metal rod sticking out, and what's this? An old wallet with documents inside on how life was like in Concrete City? Nah, I'm just kidding. It's more rocks. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like there's much of anything here. But then, when it looked like all hope was lost, I did stumble upon something that just look for yourself. The basement. Somehow it didn't occur to me that these concrete homes would also have a lower level, and as you can see, it is pitch black. You couldn't pay me to go down there. What? Are you kidding me? Risking my life in this economy? Who do I look like? Scooby-Doo? I don't know what's down there. But I did say every nook and cranny, didn't I? So I guess I have two options. I could listen to every horror movie and black ancestor looking down on me as we speak and not go down this sketchy basement, or I could suck it up. Realize I drove nearly 3 hours to get here, so I may as well check it. Also, I promised you guys a thorough investigation, and the last thing I want to do is to let you guys down. Besides, it may not even be that bad. So yeah, I'm in a new house now. However, I began to worry whether or not this search was pointless because I had no idea what I was looking for until I came across this suspicious fresh piece of paper on the ground. That doesn't look like it came from the 1900s.
Surfshark VPN? Wait, am I in an ad?
Yes, you are!
Who are you?
Up. Let's not worry about that right now. As you've probably noticed, abandoned ghost towns aren't the best for cellular data connection.
And you'd probably be tempted to go to nearby civilization to utilize public Wi-Fi.
I mean, yeah, I guess I would have done that.
But you would be a fool to do so, as unsecured public Wi-Fi puts your phone and personal data at risk for hackers. But thanks to Surfshark VPN, you can navigate this ghost town with confidence knowing that your personal information is safe and protected.
For instance, look over there! What's that? Oh, that? That's just your future self.
Enjoying your favorite show on Netflix. Wait, is that The Office? But that's not available on Netflix right now. Not in Netflix America, but it is available in Netflix Germany. So thanks to Surfshark VPN, I've been able to set my virtual location so my computer thinks I'm in a different country, although I'm secretly still in the United States. And I can watch my favorite shows again without having to pay for another streaming service.
If you want to protect yourself from sketchy internet practices, use code Tyree or click the first link in the description
for an extra 4 months free.
And I want to say thank you, Surfshark, for being another sponsor for this channel.
Wow! Thanks, random stranger.
Don't worry about it. It's all in a day's work.
After talking to that nice stranger, I searched around a bit more.
I'm at the ghost town. Here you go, just for proof. Here's a rundown of what I found so far. Oh, look at this. What's this? Oh, it's another spray can. Oh, look. Oh, what's it? Oh, it's a water bottle from. That's not from the 19th century.
And still came up with no clues from the past.
All right, guys. Quick status update. There's nothing here. I guess apparently buildings that have been abandoned for over 100 years don't have things, apparently.
But then, I remembered something. If you recall the opening sequence, there was an abandoned vehicle right outside of one of the buildings. And if I know one thing, people love to leave stuff behind in their car. So with high hopes in mind, I went back to investigate. On the way there though, I found something that completes our side quest. I mean, you guys can let me know what you think in the comments. To be fair, anything between two buildings could possibly match this picture, but I feel that it's very close. And to be honest, after searching this ghost town for hours with no results to show for it, I just need a win right now. But anyways, we finally made it to the car. And let's see if we can finally find something in here.
Unless Gatorade came out 100 years ago, I don't think that's part of the ancient history. I mean, to be honest, I don't know if this car itself was a part of the history 100 years ago. Let's just see. Maybe this car could lead us to something else. You know what? Although it does look kind of disheveled, I think I know a guy that could fix something like this. We have a may or may not be working engine.
And after searching for a couple more minutes,
I still couldn't find anything. Maybe next time?
Damn it! What can I do? Did I really travel all this way for nothing? Is this video gonna be a bust if I can't find a single clue? I guess there's still one place I didn't check. Well, I did come all this way, and I'm leaving here with something. So, I guess in the name of curiosity, I have to suck it up and see this thing through. Tell my mom I love her.
I'm commentating so I don't give off the impression that I'm scared. Let's see what happens if I go a little bit deeper. Oh, I mean, it's not bad. It's nothing really here. Turn the corner, make sure there's no dead bodies in the corner, and we're safe. All right, using my trusted flashlight. There's no way I'm going all the way down there, by the way. So I'm good off that, buddy. But let's see what we have here. We have a couple rocks. I have is that a Capri Sun? I haven't seen that in years. Next to Arizona, classic Brooklyn activities. And yeah, that's pretty much it. All I've found so far. Holy shit, that was scary. What the hell? Why is this so dark? All right, well, that's it. That's enough white activities for this evening. Hey guys, in terms of our mission, I come bearing terrible news. There's nothing here. Like, unless you count the freaking spray cans and Arizona bottles I found laying around as evidence of what happened 100 years ago. It wasn't even about what I found. It's what I didn't find. Where was the plumbing? No sign that there was anywhere to use the restroom, no place for plumbing, no place for a shower, no place for anything. How do these workers live? And by the way, a house made of concrete. That's ridiculous. It gets super cold at night. We're talking about the coal mines here. Who's the CEO of the company? Satan?
I did also end up finding something that appears to be old bed springs, and although there's obviously no guarantee that came from 100 years ago, I'm gonna count it because it at least proves that they had beds at one point. The CEO of the company can't be 100% evil.
But conveniently, that's enough for us to come to our conclusion as to how people lived in this ghost town. Roll the clip.
This is the day in the life of a Concrete City coal mine worker. At 5 a.m., I wake up in my nice, adequately temperatured bedroom. I definitely didn't spend all night shivering. At 5:30, my wife prepares a nutritious breakfast. Raw ice? My favorite! At 6, I take a 2-minute walk over to my job site. I'm so happy my boss forced me to prioritize work over my family's well-being. At work, I mine for a few hours, and that's when I run into my boss. We chat for a bit, and he tells me how well of a job I'm doing. I ask him if it's possible to add a fireplace or some sort of heating system to our home so my family doesn't die from hypothermia, and he laughs in my face. Ugh, what a jokester he is. At 5 p.m., I head home to eat dinner. Nice! At 5:30, my children beg and plead for us to move back to our original home so they don't have to worry about their clothes freezing at night, of which I enthusiastically decline. At 6, I need to use the restroom, so I wait in line at the community outhouse with the other 100 residents. Who needs indoor plumbing anyways? At 9 p.m., I go to bed and hope my wife doesn't take my kids away while I'm sleeping to her sister's house while they discuss how much of a terrible father I am for allowing my children to live in an icebox. And that concludes my day. Bye, everyone. Well, one ghost town down in the books. Although we did not find the clues that we were looking for, we ain't about to give up now. As I contemplate my next moves, I know just a place we need to go.
I'm back in New York. This ghost town has an interesting yet tragic story. Let's take a look.
In 1873, a successful 19th century businessman, William Pryor Letchworth, retired and dedicated his life to philanthropy and welfare for the less fortunate, but especially when it came to disabled children. You see, Letchworth despised the mental asylums that were prominent during his time and desired to find a more humane way for researchers and physicians to take care of the sick. So, to resolve this, he proposed a plan to build a village of small cottages on a working farm near a hospital, which would allow residents a way to live a more humane and productive lifestyle while being cared for. Thus, in 1911, Letchworth Village was born. However, Letchworth himself unfortunately passed away just a year earlier in 1910 and never got to see his dream come to fruition. After his death, the village eventually grew to hold over 3,000 patients at its limit. However, not all was how it seemed. Eventually, the hospital became overcrowded and understaffed, leaving many patients without any care or attention. So much so that some patients had to sleep dirty and naked on the hospital floors. Letchworth Village was also infamous for using child patients as guinea pigs for the clinical trials of the experimental polio vaccine, which we still use today. Various accounts of neglect, abuse, and abysmal living conditions were reported over the years, ultimately leading Letchworth Village to finally close its doors in 1996, causing the once dream of a man to create better living conditions for patients to become their biggest nightmare. That being said, we are going to explore this village to see if we can find anything that can give us insight on just how bad the living conditions were.
But the problem is, this hospital, and by extension the village, is freaking massive. There's no way I can explore this by myself without missing something. Wait. In the video game, wasn't there someone important to the story who traveled with Joel across the country? Oh, I know.
Hey guys.
See, she's kind of like Ellie, but Hispanic.
But before we investigate the hospital, we were curious to find out how the patients lived in the nearby cottages. So, as Emily and I approached the door of the first cottage, we come to find out that it's locked.
Well, it's a good thing I came prepared. My light. See if I can zoom in, actually. You won't be crazy if, like, there's something on the other side.
At this point, some YouTubers probably would have decided to find some way to break in. But we are not hooligans. So instead, we found a nearby cottage with the door already opened. Besides, both ghost towns are already publicly accessible, so no trespassing would have occurred anyways. Now, as my audience, I know you guys are very perceptive. I know you've noticed the piece of equipment I've been carrying with me since the beginning that I've yet to use. Well, that will change in just a second. As we approach this cottage, I couldn't help but think back to those times I played The Last of Us. In the game, there are sections where you have to avoid breathing in fungal spores floating in the air, or else it's all over. Except in the video game, they have a brain-infecting fungal virus that takes over your nervous system. But in real life, we have asbestos. So, in order to protect myself from the infection, I came prepared. Oh, you have no idea how long I've been waiting for this. Emily doesn't get one because she's immune. As we enter the building, our search for clues begins.
Find any clues that we can use to figure out how life was like in these places. So this is a cottage, right? So we're gonna find out if there's anything that we can find here as to, for starters, we have a bed here. Pretty interesting.
Judging by these beds and closets, it's very clear that this room has to be one of the dormitories. Now, I don't want to jump the gun. I think we might have just found our first clue. Wait, why is my mask fogging up so much? Hope that doesn't become a problem. Looking around, it became actually pretty obvious the difference between this ghost town and Concrete City. Concrete City was abandoned over 100 years ago, and Letchworth Village was only abandoned in 1996, which is why, as we searched around, we found things that can technically still be seen today, like this water fountain. No, wait, actually, it's getting really hard to breathe in this thing. I'm starting to get concerned, actually. Anyways, I opened this closet to see if there's anything hiding inside.
It's nothing. Thank God.
We searched around a bit more in this room, and then we decide to move on to the next one. Wow, what a magnificent room. Good lord! Is this a gas mask or a gas chamber? Alright, so real quick, apparently the gas mask I'm wearing has a plug on it that you're supposed to take off for it to work. So the reason I'm having trouble breathing right now isn't because the mask isn't working. It's because I'm an idiot. Oh, and also Emily has a mask now too, because this is real life and she actually isn't immune to asbestos. Crazy to think about. We walked a little further and found this closed door. Let's open it and see what's on the other side.
FBI, open up!
Got an old kitchen.
You know, seeing this kitchen makes me think of the amount of rooms we still have left to explore in this one cottage alone. So as to not drag this section out any longer, it's time for Post-Apocalyptic House Tour.
Kitchen for all your apocalyptic food needs.
A bed.
Bathroom, at least they have one.
A bed.
Closet.
A bed. We love great ventilation. A bed.
Alright, that's it. That's the tour. Before we leave this cottage, we have to identify a clue. And after searching everywhere, I feel the entire cottage itself is the clue. I can't imagine how terrible the living conditions here must have been like when it was overcrowded. And I can explain what I mean via voiceover, but lucky for us, Emily already gives us a perfect summary on how life may have been like in this cottage based on the clues that we found.
I wonder how many children they had in this place at once. Pretty small. They weren't big. If you think about it, all the little cubbies that they had, I'm saying that's one for each child, but that's this space isn't big. I can't imagine overpopulated. These rooms.
We finally leave the cottage, now with a better insight of how terrible the living conditions must have been like for the patients. But that's only how they slept. We still don't have a super clear picture on their day-to-day, and especially how they were treated in the hospital. So now, what we have to do is go even deeper in the village, until we find those answers. But not before a quick lunch break. Now, don't think for a second that we forgot about the side mission. With this new building that we are approaching, we may just have an opportunity to complete it.
Woo! Scared you, didn't I? As you can see, I'm by myself again. Ellie's waiting outside because she got a little bit spooked, but we still have a mission to complete. I think I found the location for this picture right here, but I'm not entirely sure where it is. It might be in this building, so we're gonna explore and find out.
As I look around, at the time I thought this building might have held a classroom at some point, evidenced by these chairs I found suspiciously sat in a circle. But looking back on this footage, there really wasn't anything that could point us to conclude that this was a classroom setting, which is perfect because if you look at the photo, it looks like they're in some sort of auditorium, which I'm hoping this is, but we'll just have to wait and see. And while I had that thought, I stumbled upon an open crevice.
I think I found a science lab. Ah, ew. Thank God I got my gas mask on. Over there. Definitely looks more like a kitchen of some sort. Bakery?
After doing a quick look around, this obviously looks more like a kitchen than a science lab. And alongside the chairs I found outside, it may be safe to conclude that this building was the village cafeteria. And although I'm glad we were able to figure it out, that's bad for us because that means this photo definitely wasn't taken here. Damn it! And I was really hoping we'd get this side mission over with already. But enough of the foolishness. We just have to go back to our original goal of finding out how their day-to-day may have been like. However, not all hope was lost for our side quest. As Emily and I began to walk outside, we stumbled upon a building that we thought looked familiar. And as we pulled up the photo to verify, our suspicions were correct. It's funny looking back on this footage because I legitimately thought the building I am in right now was the hospital. If you Google Letchworth Village, this is literally the first picture that pops up, and I thought, hey, I could put two and two together, but apparently I was in the auditorium. You know, literally the thing we were looking for before. And as you can see from me walking around, it's probably the most damaged building out of all the ones we've seen so far. And the spookiest because, god damn, it's dark.
I'm not gonna lie, guys, I am terrified. And I don't even care that there's no one in here. It's still creepy. I'm gonna walk fast. I'm gonna stop talking. I'm gonna walk.
And you're probably thinking to yourself at home right now, Tyreek, you did about 30 seconds worth of yapping there just now. Did you at least find any clues in the building?
No.
When I tell you this place had nothing, it had nothing. Or at least nothing we haven't seen already. So, let's go to the hospital now. Finally, after an entire day of exploring, we made it to the hospital. If you remember, the entire village was built because of this one location. So, Emily and I continued to walk through every room to see what we can find. Also, I whipped out my flashlight because I thought it made it look like I was in a first-person horror game. So yeah, enjoy the thrilling content.
What do you think this is? Is this like an exercise machine or something? Yeah. Holy crap, they're just getting their gains in. So I guess let's just confirm this is a hospital. Does this look hospital-like?
The reason I asked that question is because even at this point, we still weren't entirely sure if we were in the right building. But our suspicions were quickly answered when we found this document on the ground.
Just empty parchment paper.
Oh, sorry, I meant these documents.
These are papers about like how to find a job here.
Aha! Career planning documents. A doctor is a career, and last time I checked, doctors are in hospitals. So yeah, that's how we know we're in a hospital. On to the next scene now. We walked a little further, and then we ran into an elevator shaft. We're not taking that upstairs anytime soon. Then we found a staircase and decided to check out upstairs. Once we got upstairs, we found a bunch of rooms that looked like rooms that patients would be held in. Potentially, obviously, if there are still things inside of it still. And on a more serious note, this hospital had some serious reports of abuse amongst patients, so there definitely was an eerie feeling being here knowing what occurred behind these walls.
Hey look, I found a bathtub. Oh, wow.
We've been here for a few moments, and you've probably realized this flashlight sucks! I guess that's what happens when you give Jeff Bezos 10 bucks. And I know on the video it doesn't look too bad, but that's because I turned up the exposure on Adobe Premiere Pro. And just so you get a full picture of what we're walking through right now, this is what you see, and this is what we see. Yeah, you're welcome. But it's alright, we're two adults, we can handle this. Surely that's the creepiest thing that'll ever happen to us on this journey today, right? Right?
I used to be able to see things. Right there.
Wow.
Yeah, I kind of see it.
It's like it kind of like it's got a white hood.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
In case you're confused as to what's going on right now, we ran into this group of people who were also exploring the hospital, and they told us that they were ghost hunting. What? And apparently this person showed me a picture on their phone of a photo they took a couple seconds ago, and they thought that they saw a celestial figure at the end of the hallway. What? So as two able-bodied minorities, we have a question to make. We could either A, get out immediately, or see how far we can play this thing out. I mean, what's the worst that could happen?
So this is where you guys heard that saw the activity?
Yeah, he heard a voice. Him and my daughter were in here.
Wow.
If you don't move on this side, it's cold.
It's cold?
Yeah.
Very, very cold.
Like you felt how warm it is out here.
Yeah, I did.
Right here. You feel it.
It's like freezing.
And there's no windows open.
Wow, that's actually insane. What the heck?
Yeah, but we were over in the corner over there when it was going on.
Is that
Wanna go in the corner? Go ahead.
that is kind of cold there, actually. I'm not gonna lie.
You definitely feel the difference.
Yeah, that's what it said. Like when it gets dark, this whole place feels different.
This is probably a good time for me to admit that although I obviously research every single place I go before I actually get there, I purposely don't research enough because I don't want to get spoiled and I want a raw and authentic experience. The problem with that is though, I end up missing out on vital information such as whether or not a place is haunted or not. So for the second time on this channel, I'm exploring a haunted location without prior knowledge. So yeah, there you go.
Oh, Jesus, no.
There's a Ouija board.
A Ouija board?
Yes, a Ouija board.
All right, well, guys, thank you so much. I think it's time for us to leave.
Yeah. There was nothing there.
Down underneath the light.
That's fun.
See where the lights are reflecting? Look down.
What's going on?
So we're finally out.
Finally out.
And we're safe, hopefully.
We learned because we encountered people. The first floor was like the dentist.
And the morgue.
Yeah, and like labs and stuff. We
Right.
didn't see a lot because No.
Yeah.
And you're probably thinking, but Tyreek, what about the mission? You didn't collect enough clues to finish the main mission or the side quest. And I'll be honest with you guys, yeah, we failed the side quest bad. It's alright though, it was optional anyways. But there's still hope for the main mission. We didn't find anything specific in the hospital, but along our journey, we did find the best clue anyone could have found. Along our search, we ran into someone who...
Oh wait, really? This was open when you were a kid?
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, as I grew up here as a kid, some of these kids got wound up like they didn't know what attention deficit was. So they're in classroom going, you know, they're hyperactive, they're doing all this stuff, or they might be dyslexic, and they're telling the teacher, I see this letter R written the other way. And all of a sudden you wind up here.
Like dyslexia.
For dyslexia.
Yep, we ran into someone who was a teenager while this hospital was still active, and he gave us a bit more insight. That's a clue if I ever saw one. And if you've been on my channel before, I've already covered a topic similar to this in terms of how bad mental health stigma has been throughout history. And unfortunately, with this village being built in 1911, it seems to be no different. So in terms of daily life in this village, outside of residents probably just doing whatever the caretaker scheduled them to do day in and day out, whether it be activities or whatnot, for majority of its life cycle, we can assume the patients were never properly understood and likely suffered because of it. Not to mention the already smaller rooms they had to live in. The overpopulation were likely too much for the caretakers to handle, making it becoming abandoned probably the best case scenario for its future. And now, you're probably expecting me to end this video off with some meaningful message, or maybe a lesson that we learned, like it's an episode of PBS Kids. But nah, I just had a fun experience, and that's all that matters, right? So now, I'm going to put down my book, take off my watch, and mysteriously walk away to some great ending music. Bye everyone.